Hey fish friends, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. This is Zenzo with Tazawa Tanks. A lot of you have asked about watching the Mudskippers eat. What do I feed them? Can you see a video of me feeding the Mudskippers? So I thought, why don't I just feed my Mudskippers a bunch of different foods that I normally feed them and film it so that all of you have a chance to watch it and enjoy it. Now I will share with you that this is not happening all at the same time. This is throughout the day, so it's not like they're just gorging themselves on all of these foods all at once. But I have 4 African Mudskippers in this paludarium. This is brackish water. Brackish water is a mixture of salt water and fresh water. You might have seen in the very opening scene, the Mudskippers were trying to get that one little earthworm that I had that was left over from me feeding my Oscar cichlid. And I thought, let me just kind of dangle this in here and see if I can make the Mudskippers jump. And sure enough, it jumped up and grabbed the earthworm. And then I just fed them some bloodworms. The bloodworms are actually one of their favorite foods. They kind of go nuts for them, and it's very easy to feed the bloodworms because the puffer that I have in this tank also eats bloodworms as well. So one of the interesting things that you might see throughout this video, and just kind of at different times, I'm not going to point it out each time, is every once in a while you will see the dorsal fin on the puffer raise up. And basically that's just like saying, hey, you're in my space, leave me alone, or get away, I want your food and I'm going to bully my way in. So the largest Mudskipper in this tank obviously has the largest dorsal fin. They are pretty cool to look at. Some of them are brighter blue than the others. And there you can see they just did it right on cue for me. They just kind of popped up their dorsal fin. So that will happen throughout the day when I go in and feed them. They'll do that to one another, so it's kind of fun. Now I put some mealworms in the tank. These are live mealworms. They're kind of on the small side. This one right here that just grabbed the mealworm, that's the smallest Mudskipper. That's Shemp. So if you've been following the saga of Shemp, he was the one that was the lone survivor from a bad batch that I received from a company that did a terrible job of shipping fish. And anyway, so one of the things that they do, and I didn't talk about this earlier with the earthworm, but they do that with the earthworm and the mealworms, is they'll grab the insect or the worm and then they will kind of smash it in their mouth. And then what they do oftentimes, they'll just kind of hold that worm or insect or whatever it is in their mouth without swallowing it, kind of making sure it's dead, I guess. And one of the things that I found interesting is that they also, I think, kind of drown the insects. So a lot of times they'll grab it and it's still wiggling around, then they'll go like underwater, go partly underwater and kind of hold it and smash it there. Maybe it's their way of knowing that the insect will die, causing, having less risk of injury to them. But then maybe it's easier to swallow for them as well. So, maybe it kind of acts like having a glass of water when you're eating a sandwich or something. But anyway, it's really fun to feed these guys. So far we have fed them the earthworm and then the bloodworms, which is one of the most common foods that I feed them. The mealworms, I don't feed them very often, so very infrequently will I feed them mealworms, and very infrequently will I feed them an earthworm, which actually that was the first time. I do a lot of freeze-dried mysis shrimp and a lot of bloodworms. So I'll just stop talking here and kind of let you just enjoy the Mudskippers chomping on the mealworms. This is Shemp's second one there. Well, I didn't want the Mudskippers to get all the food. I had to make sure that we fed Poe. Poe is my figure 8 puffer. If you want to know why his name is Poe, it's because it actually reads Poe on his body. His markings from left to right read Poe if he was turned the other direction. You might have saw that Mudskipper jump in the water when I dropped that mealworm in there, so they're kind of greedy. So if that mealworm doesn't sink right away, the Mudskippers will grab it. So usually what I try to do is distract the Mudskippers with food on their end, and then feed Poe so that the mealworm has a chance to sink. But in this case, Poe was able to grab it, and in no time flat, he devours that thing. And there you can kind of see the Mudskipper just kind of hanging out, seeing if any more food's going to get dropped in the water. So Poe has a very strong, sharp beak, so he made quick work of that worm, and he crushes snails up the same way. Now for the flightless fruit flies. I put a whole bunch in here just to kind of get them to jump around. What happens is they kind of jump all over the rocks. They jump, into the water to grab them. The flightless fruit flies can't fly, obviously, so they just kind of crawl around on the rocks and on the sand. And then the Mudskipper just kind of run around and chase them all over the place. So very, very fun and enjoyable to watch. They are very small, the flies are, so they don't really, fill up their bellies very much with the flies. But I just kind of put them in there just to kind of get the activity going every once in a while. I only feed this to them maybe once every couple of weeks or so. So I just kind of do it just to kind of get the hunting behavior and kind of watch them jump around. It really is enjoyable to watch them chase the flies. I really like to watch them climb up on this giant rock in the middle and try to get the flies from the rock, or jump up and grab them. So really, really interesting to watch that behavior. And then of course, as they're jumping around, they're kind of getting in each other's way, so they'll kind of chase each other and kind of, I don't want to say fight, but they kind of like run each other off, and they'll raise their dorsal fins and kind of have some fun. In fact, one of the Mudskippers is all the way across the way on that island over there. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. A lot of you did ask me to film my Mudskippers eating, so hopefully this is what you wanted to see. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Every time you guys like the video, it really does help my channel. It helps the video, and I really do appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I won't talk to the last couple of minutes. We'll just let the music play and let you enjoy watching the Mudskippers. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.